Let's start with something uncomfortable. If you're an INFJ, there's a high chance you've walked out of conversations thinking, they have no idea what just happened. Not because you dominated the room, but because you were mapping it. And here's the open loop. Why do you hide how much you know? Is it humility or strategy? Let's go deeper. 1. You downplay what you know, on purpose. Most intelligent people want to be recognized. You don't. You ask questions you already know the answer to. You let others explain things you've already figured out. Not because you're insecure, but because information flows more freely when no one feels challenged. When someone believes they're the smartest in the room, they relax, they reveal, they over-explain. And while they're talking, you're studying tone shifts, contradictions, motivations. It's psychological camouflage. But here's the cost. When you pretend not to know, people assume you don't, and over time, that misperception becomes isolating. 2. You treat symbols like data. Most people discard dreams. You archive them. You notice recurring imagery, unfinished bridges, flooded rooms, lost keys. You treat your subconscious like an analyst sending encrypted reports. This isn't superstition, it's pattern recognition. Think of the work of Carl Jung, who argued that the unconscious communicates through symbols. You instinctively understand that meaning doesn't always arrive logically. It arrives sideways, through metaphor, through repetition, through emotional residue. And when your insight feels out of nowhere, it usually isn't. It's accumulated pattern awareness surfacing at once. 3. Conversations are strategic even when you're relaxed. To others, it feels like you're just listening. Internally, you're running simulations. If they answer quickly, confidence or rehearsed. If they hesitate, uncertainty or concealment. If they joke, deflection or discomfort. You don't just hear content, you read timing, pauses, interruptions, micro adjustments in energy. It's less like talking, more like chess, except no one else realizes the board exists. And here's the paradox. The more accurately you read people, the harder it becomes to fully trust them, because you see the cracks before they do. 4. You outsmart systems quietly. You don't just analyze individuals, you analyze structures, workplace hierarchies, family roles, unspoken rules in friend groups. You notice who can interrupt without consequence, who people look at before agreeing, which opinions are safe, and which ones carry social penalties. This is systemic intelligence, the kind that understands not just behavior, but incentive. And once you see incentive structures, you stop being impressed by authority because you see the machinery behind it. But here's the hidden tension. When you see through systems, you often feel detached from them, which can look like disengagement or quiet rebellion. 6. You hide your sharpest thoughts. This is where people misunderstand you. They think you're agreeable, easygoing, quiet. What they don't realize is that you're filtering. Your strongest observations, you rarely say them immediately because you calculate emotional readiness, context, consequence. You understand something many don't. Truth without timing becomes aggression, so you wait. And when you finally speak with precision, it lands hard. But restraint has a shadow. The more you withhold, the fewer people truly know you. 7. You hear the story beneath the story. When someone vents about their boss, you don't just hear frustration, you hear fear of insignificance. When someone brags, you hear insecurity. When someone jokes repeatedly about being fine alone, you hear loneliness. This is layered listening, surface narrative versus emotional narrative. You instinctively track the second one, and when you reflect it back, people feel exposed, understood, or threatened, sometimes all three. 8. You notice what others ignore. Most people chase obvious information. You collect anomalies, a glance across the room, a subject change too quickly, a compliment that arrives half a second too late. You don't act on each detail, you store them until the pattern clarifies. Then suddenly, your intuition seems prophetic, but it wasn't magic, it was accumulation. Now let's close the loop. Why hide all this? Because being fully seen is powerful, but being underestimated is strategic. The question is, are you protecting yourself or controlling the board? There's a fine line between perception and hypervigilance, between awareness and isolation, between intelligence and emotional distance. Your mind is precise, strategic, quietly 3 steps ahead. But here's the deeper truth. If you're always mapping the room, who's mapping you? Uncommon intelligence is powerful, but intimacy requires occasionally stepping off the chessboard and letting someone see the moves in your head. In the next conversation you have, notice this. Are you observing or are you participating? Because sometimes the smartest move is not calculating the outcome, it's risking being known. If this resonates with you, I would appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I am going through some personal situations, and after I sort it out, I am looking to use my real voice and face. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Let's raise awareness of our existence in a world that is designed for 99% of the population. We can make this happen together. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.